Good morning, guys. Good morning. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah, happy Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Oh, geez, today's payday in my fitness biz world, so I'll have to go see what my check was. But happy Thursday. Yes, I'm in Florida, and yes, I have a sweatshirt on. The house is normally cold. However, the house isn't cold today, but it's like in the 50s outside. So when I'm done chatting with you guys, I gotta go move my car so that way I can do my shoulder workout in the garage. But I wanted to talk about relationships today, and this is where this topic came from. So you guys know that I do that YouVerse Bible app. What I love about it is it's not all godly. I am Catholic. I did grow up going to church every Sunday. Good morning, Mom. Whether I wanted to go or not, I got dragged there. But I don't go to church. Not that I don't believe. I just don't care very much for the Catholic churches around here in Florida. I don't know how they are in other places, but they're just not, I don't know, there's just something about them that it just doesn't feel like I belong. So I don't go to church. I don't force my kids to go to church, but I do that reading with my girls. It's an app, and you can invite people to the plans. They're different like little plans, a 3-day plan, a 5-day plan, a 7-day plan, and it's a specific topic. So I've read some about marriage. Right now we're reading about squad goals because most of the ladies that I'm reading it with are coaches that are on the team. And it's really about friendships, and it's about relationships in your life, and it's about what type of person to be and things like that in the relationships. And that's where this topic came from, because today it was talking a lot about having those hard conversations, whether it be girlfriends just chit-chatting, and not just talking about the weather or what outfit am I going to wear today, but having those tough conversations. Like, ask, what is that? Strange noise. It sounds like it's coming from the bathroom. Very strange.
Yes, it's up.
It's the what?
It's up.
What do you mean?
She's turned the top off. She's turned the shower down.
Oh, okay. All right. So we got that cleared up. It's Nan getting ready to take her shower. So it was talking a lot about having these tough conversations that a lot of people, majority of people, have surface relationships, meaning that you just have those regular, how was your day today? How are the kids? Or, talk about the weather, or talk about like things that are going on in the news, or whatever it may be, okay? Just the surface conversations, not those in-depth like, hey, how are things going in your marriage nowadays? And a lot of relationships and friendships. This was more about friendships, but this topic can be for all relationships. Good morning, Donna. It could be for all relationships, marriages, mother-daughter relationships, father-son, whatever type of relationship. A lot of them, the majority of them, are surface relationships where you don't have those hard, honest conversations. In the reading, and what I love is that, like, it took me a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Hey, Sylvia, good morning. It took me like a minute, maybe 2 minutes to read the little passage, and it had this much of an impact. Because when I was reading it, I'm like, man. And then it makes you think, because after we're done reading, there's a little spot for us to converse about what we read, what our takeaway was, what God was trying to tell us, that kind of stuff. And today my takeaway was that I think he was trying to tell me that I'm more there for a lot of the people that I consider friends than they are to me. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that I have very few friends. I have one friend besides my mom. I take my mom out of the equation because she is one of my friends that I talk to, but I'm speaking just friend. Good morning, Lisa. I have one friend that I have these types of conversations with. We have the tough, detailed, hard, hey Debbie, conversations. And honest. Me and her do that for each other. We are completely honest. She'll talk to me about her feelings, and me and her only really open up to each other that way. That's why I love that we have each other. You know, we feel that we could just say everything we're thinking, everything we're feeling inside. There's no judgment, there's no nothing. But now the other person will be completely honest with a response. And that's very hard to find, and it's very rare. And when I did this reading today, I realized that I don't have a lot of friends. I have a lot of acquaintances. I have a lot of people that I do that for. And maybe it's because a lot of people can't accept that honesty. I am not always opened with all the problems that I'm going through, you know, with that person. If they don't ask, how are things with you? How are things with you and Alex? How are things with Alex and the kids? If somebody doesn't ask me that, I don't just come right out and start talking about it. Hey, Joni, good morning. We have a few more days. I did my measurements and my weight this morning and put it in the book. So I hope you did yours. But I'm always there as a listener. That's one thing that I can pride myself on. I have always been a very good listener, a decent, good advice giver. But I don't always take my own advice. I've been getting a little bit better with that. It's very hard to give yourself advice. You need somebody else to listen to you and to tell you what to do. It's very hard to tell yourself what to do. But I've always been a good listener. I've always been that one friend that all the friends come to when they're having turmoil with something, whether they're having a boyfriend problem, whether they're having a friend problem, whether they, you know, whatever they're frustrated with, I've always been the one that they've come to, talked to, we've talked it out, come up with a solution, things like that. But I don't have that many people in my life that do that for me. And that was an eye-opener for me this morning when I was doing my reading. And I labeled this topic today, are your relationships good for you? And the reason I labeled it that is because a lot of the relationships I have aren't. And I learned that today because if I don't have that with the relationship, if I don't have people that I can be honest with, people that I can open up to, people that I can talk with my problems about, then no, they're not really good for me because they're not doing anything for me. And that's something that I wanted to share because I think everybody kind of has to reevaluate. It's the beginning of the year. Evaluate all of your relationships, friendships, coworker relationships, your marriage, your relationship with your family. Evaluate all of those. Are they doing good for you? Are they, I guess the birds want to get in on the conversation. Are they helping you or are they hindering you? Are they holding you back? Are they not doing anything for you? And I really think that's something that we need to open our eyes to in our life. You know, do you have people in your life that are willing to have those tough conversations, are willing to be honest and not just tell you what they think you want to hear? If I come to somebody and I ask them for their advice, I want to hear their advice. I don't want to hear what they think I want them to say, because then I could have just asked myself. You know, and I think a lot of people are like that. If we're going to somebody for advice, but now there's sometimes people just need an ear, and you need to know the difference. And sometimes when you don't know the difference, I have to ask, like, are you just venting and you just need me to hear, or are you wanting advice from me? Because I don't want to give advice when advice wasn't asked. But sometimes people just need an ear. Sometimes you don't know what to say when somebody comes to you and talks to you about their problem. But sometimes that's a good thing, because they might just need to have somebody to listen to them. They don't need a therapist. They don't need to be psychoanalyzed. They just wanted somebody to listen and somebody to tell them, I get it. That's got to be really tough, you know, and be there for them. Sometimes that's all someone needs. Good morning, Jessica. But yes, Lisa, and that's so true. A lot of people don't want the honest truth. A lot of people just want to hear rainbows and butterflies, or they just want somebody to bitch and complain with them. They don't want somebody to tell them that they're bitching and complaining about something they shouldn't bitch and complain about. So sometimes it's that fine line. And if you're unsure, we just need to ask them, did you just need an ear or did you need advice? But one thing's for sure, just reading that little passage this morning really had me evaluating a lot of the relationships that I have, and thinking about, you know, the ones that are real friendships and the ones that aren't. And that's sad sometimes, because sometimes you give everything to somebody and you get nothing in return. And for some reason, those are the ones that you hold on to. It's almost like you want them to prove you're wrong. And sometimes you just got to go with your gut and know that, they might not view the relationship the same. And that could be just friendships, not necessarily a significant other type relationship. It could just be friendship. But you have to be able to have those tough conversations. The last thing you want is that you talk to this one friend all the time, right? And you chat and you chat and you chat, and you're just having surface conversations. And then the next time you chat with her, you hear that her and her husband are separating, and either she's moving out or he's moving out. And then you feel like the shittiest friend in the world because you've talked to this person at least once a week, if not a few times a week, even every other week. But whenever you've talked to that person, you had no idea that there was trouble at home. And why is that? Because you've never asked any questions. I know it's an awkward thing, but like in the book it's not even a book, sorry. In the passage that we were reading in the app, it even said, to ask the question, so hey, how are things with your marriage, or how are things with your husband, or, how are things going in your relationship nowadays? And when I read that, I was like, oh, well, that's kind of like an odd question to ask. I wouldn't just randomly be like, hey, how's your marriage going? But then when you think about it, it's like, oh, well, you can, say, like if somebody was to ask me, like, how are things with you and Alex? I wouldn't take that as a weird question. So when I first read it, I was like, oh, I don't know if I would ask that. But I think it was the way that it was worded, the way that it was saying, so how's your marriage nowadays? So I would probably ask it like that. Like, how are things with you and Alex going? Everything cool? Everything good? And the more I think about that question, the more I realize that is the most important question that we should be asking our friends. Because especially if they have children in the house. Because I have that book, The Happiness Project, that I'm reading. And I read the first paragraph in the second chapter, and I had to read it to Alex because it's so true. It talks about when they have babies and teenagers, that is when a marriage starts to have problems. That is when a lot of the shit show starts. And if you have friends that are married, who's that? Oh, hey, Aunt Pam, good morning. If you have friends that are married, that is one question you should ask. How are things with you and John? How are things with you and Joe? How are things with you and Alex? Because sometimes things aren't going well, and they're just good at putting the mask up, and you don't know, but they might just need to talk and vent. And just them talking to you and getting everything off their chest and everything out of their mind might actually help their marriage, because now they've talked about it, they feel that somebody has listened to them, and now they can move past those feelings in their mind. Because a lot of people, when they have those things on their mind and they have those things pulling at their heart and they're frustrated about certain things, it keeps them in that shitty, crappy mood. And then they spiral out of control and things get worse. So sometimes just asking that one question, like, hey, I just want to catch up. So, how are things with you and the hubs? How are things with the kids? Those kinds of things. And when they're honest with you and they talk to you about it, even if you don't know what to say, just being there and being an ear is enough. And then maybe that topic can be something that you continue to talk to them about. And that could help that separation not happen. Because a lot of times when the separations happen, not all the times, but a lot of the times, it's because there's no communication. So one person doesn't know what the other person's feeling, and nobody's talked about their feelings, and then it's just like, well, screw it, I'm done. I don't want to live this way anymore. I don't want to feel like this anymore. So sometimes being a good friend and having that difficult conversation and asking that one hard question can be the biggest help in the world. So evaluate. It's my call to action today. Evaluate your relationships. Evaluate you being a friend. Do you ask those tough questions that might make that difficult, hardcore, honest conversation happen? Are you one that is okay being honest with your friends? Because in all honesty, if you are not one of those friends that is honest and really says it like it is, like I'm one of those friends that if my friends want to know if their outfit really looks good, they're going to send me a picture of what they're wearing, and I'm going to tell them whether it looks good or not. They're asking. So I'm going to be honest. Alex is the same way with me. If I put on an outfit, I'm like, does this look okay? He'll tell me if it doesn't. And I remember the first time he did that when we were dating, I'm like, oh, I love that you do that, because I really don't want to go out looking like an asshole. I don't want to look stupid going out. So if somebody's asking, they really want to know. So they don't want it to be her, oh yeah, you look amazing. And then they're posting their pictures on social media and they look stupid. Yeah, Jen, I'm the same way. I am brutally honest. Maybe that's why I only have like 1 or 2 good friends, because maybe a lot of people can't handle that. But I will be honest in a nice way. I'm not going to tell them they look like an idiot. I'll be like, I don't like it with black shoes. You should probably wear this color shoe, or you know what I mean? Like I would give some sort of a suggestion. But you know, just evaluate, guys. Evaluate your relationships, friendships, all relationships, and make sure they're doing something good for you, and make sure that they're just as honest with you. It can't be a one-way street. You know, every relationship, marriage, friendship, everything, it is not a 50-50 road. It's 100%, 100%. In every type of relationship, both parties should be giving 100%. There's no, I'll give 50%, you give 50%. 100%, both sides. So evaluate, guys. Evaluate. Have those tough relationships. Maybe, okay, let's make this a call to action. You're going to evaluate. But I want you to have a tough conversation with one of your friends today. Reach out to a friend that maybe your gut is telling you something might not be good and they need someone to talk to. But you've just been kind of having the surface conversation, hoping that with those surface conversations, they would just start talking about it. Ask the hard question and see if you can't get them talking. Have those tough conversations. Be the type of friend that cares enough to ask the hard questions. Yeah, I hear you. I can't read the whole thing, Jen, so I'm going to read it after and comment. But yeah, I'm in a different place in my life too. I don't need a lot of friends. I don't want a lot of friends. A lot of acquaintances is fine for me. I don't really want a lot of friends because then there's just too many people. But yeah, today's reading was a really good reading. I loved it. I will also share the app, like what the app looks like, in the comments. So if anybody wants to get into that app, connect with me, we might be able to read some passages and chat on them each together. I love doing that. It's like a little internet book club. I love it. And for those of you that aren't very godly, it's not very godly. That's why I like it. So I want you guys to have a great day. I'm past due on starting my workout, but that's okay. I'm going to go get my shoulder workout in, sweat my booty off in the garage, and then get my day going for work. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Bye.